Happy Father's Day to all the stupid bastards that couldn't afford a condom, and when the time came, couldn't afford to drive away to get out of the situation to put themselves in. Happy Father's Day. Should have worn a condom. What a great day to not be a father. I'm a grandpa. How do you pull that off? I made that shit up years ago. I said, when I was in the army, like 19, 20 years old, I realized after my sister had her kid, I was 18 and I was just fucking rotten. I was like, I gotta have a fucking kid. I was like, the hormones were raging. And then my older sister got pregnant and had a kid. There, 1989, I was just turning 19, September 26th, that kid was born. And I looked and I said, I guess I don't need one after all. She's got one for me. And so the brothers and sisters, they have the kids and you don't need them at all. All you need is something that you can pour ideas into every once in a while, but you don't need them out there all the time. And I said, and then when I was drowning in Florida, as I was going bloop, 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 like the last time I was getting sucked down into the undertow because I didn't know you were supposed to swim parallel and it was dragging me down. Nobody on the beach. There was a storm. I just had to be in there. I was like, and it was dragging me out to sea and I was sinking because, well, look at me. I don't float. And I was dying in that last dip down and I said, I just want to be a grandpa. And I you know, the life flashing before you type thing, I wasn't quite right, but I needed to be a grandpa. That's what I realized. I want to be a grandpa. And I crawled up and I get, and I beat the undertow and I lay there on the, like on the beach, like Burt Reynolds going, and I promised God, I said, if you get me out of here, I will be good. And as I was lying there on the beach, I said, fuck you, God. I made it. So I don't have to be anything. I broke a promise. But all these years later, on Father's Day, I become a grandpa. Look at that. This is Bob. This is the child that was born of my grandson yesterday, day before. Yesterday, we cut him open and ate him. So little Johnny, he's like 5 years old, which is amazing. How do you get that kid getting out there? The neighbors have been paying attention to him and calling CPS for years, so evidently that's the only way you got little Johnny going to school when he was 5. He's walking down the street to kindergarten, and every morning he goes by there. He goes by the whorehouse because he's in a bad part of town, and the madam is out there after a long night of whipping whores and screwing wealthy men, and she's out on the porch with her last cup of coffee and a cigarette, and she sees little Johnny going to school because she knows he's a future Mark. He's money in the house. She can see that a mile away, and she sees him sitting there on the porch, and she says, hi, little boy. As he goes by the kindergarten, he's like, He said, hi, nice lady. And he goes on. She never invites him up. Next day, hi, little boy. And he's like, hi, nice lady. Then the next day, he goes walking by and she says, hi, little boy. And he's a thinking man. And he looks at her and he says, nice lady. Why do you always raise your pinky like that when you say hello to me in the morning? And she says, because that's probably the size of your penis. And he says, huh, you don't know nothing, do ya? And he walks to school. And the next morning, he comes walking by. And he's walking, and he's just fucking looking at her. And he's feeling all the things he feels because it just emanates from that house. And he's just like, oh. He don't have time to take shit from no one. He knows what he wants. And she says, hi, little boy. And he looks at her and he says, hi, nice lady. Ha 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 ha. Oh, you fucking cunt. You wanna fuck with me? And I love that it's Father's Day. And I love that little Johnny's dad finally got his shit together after just ignoring everything. With the law rolling down him, it's amazing even sometimes. The worst people of all never suffer the impingement of the law. You know, the law lets the worst people go. Isn't it funny? They create laws because some of us just can't keep shit together. But they use the laws against those of us that can, that slip once in a while. And those fuckers that they created these laws for, they're like, that's too hard. They just let them go. So the laws do not amount to being anything. And so one time, speaking of Father's Day, I'm sitting in my dad's living room on a Sunday morning when he's supposed to be at church. Yeah, you gotta get this fucking Bob out of the way. This is like the Kindred. This is something was planted in this thing and we ate it. Now it's a part of us. The Kindred, the movie. Oh yeah, I gotta get it out of here. So I'm sitting there watching this thing with my dad, and he watched Pat Robertson in the mornings, which you cannot judge him by. My dad watches things just to laugh at them, and he didn't do that till I was an adult. I think I taught him the pleasure of ridicule. He's a happy person now. I mean, sometimes it takes ridicule to allow us to get by. And so he's sitting there watching Pat Robertson, and Pat Robertson's going, Jesus loves sinners. And I said, I stepped up to my dad and I said, that's why he loves me. You know, strippers love me. It's the idea that the unicorn and the virgin. Jesus loves sinners because these are the people that worship him the most. They think that he can save them from the things that they've chosen to do. Nobody can save you from your choices. It's your choices that keep you alive. And so then you've got, like I said, the unicorn and the virgin. Why do unicorns like virgins? Because they suffer more when you rape them.